What's up guys, it is the Sound Alchemist, and guess what? I'm back at it again to bring you 40 facts on the Warhammer 40k universe, and also 30k. Today I will be wearing my romper as I vape and play with my fidget spinners. Just kidding guys, that would be too cool and the internet would implode. Instead, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite units in all of the Imperium, the Leviathan Dreadnought. But before we get into that lore, just to let you guys know, we do have a Thanatar and a Damatar up for sale. So if you guys are interested in these, they are based and they are painted pretty tabletop standard, I guess. They could be painted a little bit better, but for now, I think they're pretty good. So if you guys are interested, go to our Facebook page. I do have a post about it, so check it out and send us some offers if you are interested. I may be selling some, what are those guys called? The Custody Dreadnoughts, but I'm not sure yet. But if you guys are interested, hit us up on our Facebook page. So without further ado, let's get into the lore behind the Leviathan Dreadnought. The Leviathan Dreadnought was an alternative development on the highly successful Contemptor Dreadnought, but it was not developed on Mars. Instead, it was developed on Terra. It represents the hybrid technologies, some of which believed date back to the Age of Strife, which rumors had that it was created by the hand of the Emperor directly. The resources required to produce one were immense, equal perhaps even to an Imperial Knight. Made available to the Legion Astartes only in limited quantities before the outbreak of the Horus heresy, they were highly valued and recognized as savagely powerful siege and hunter-killer units. They placed an onerous and ultimately lethal strain upon their occupants, the Leviathan's incumbent burning brightly but briefly in their second life. Many in the Mechanicum were deeply uneasy over the design, seeing it as purpose designed to match and indeed destroy the Mechanicum's own battle automata in the future, unforeseen crisis, or a dispute between them and the wider Imperium. During the Horus heresy, the Loyalists had access to Terra, and they were able to obtain new Leviathan Dreadnoughts, although never many, while traitors and isolated forces were reduced to marshalling very few Leviathans, or carefully hunting down the relics of the dead from the battlefields to be recommissioned. Those few examples of Leviathan Dreadnoughts which survived to the late 41st millennium are indeed ancient and terrible relics, rarely spoken of and rarely deployed, dreaded as much as they are revered by those chapters in whose armory vaults they reside in. The tormented and ravaged minds of the Astartes interred within are driven to the edge of madness by the little understood mechanisms unique to the Leviathan. They are indeed trapped in gore-soaked dreams of the lost age of darkness during the Horus heresy, which haunts the machines themselves, and soon suffer a final dissolution owing to the terrible strain the Leviathan inflicts on those who dare to master it. Only the full authority of a chapter master is sufficient enough to unleash these terrifying machines in war, as where they strike and what they kill is often determined by their dark dreaming, as it is the will of their commanders. Here are a few notable patterns of this dreadnought. The ancient Reductus Valkyran. The Valkyran was a Leviathan dreadnought of the Night Lord's Legion. Before being interred within a dreadnought, ancient Reductus Valkyran had fought during the later stages of the unification wars on Terra, and they eventually fell in combat against the mighty Overword of the Hambro cult. Later, sometime after the outbreak of the Horus heresy, he would be sealed within his Leviathan pattern dreadnought after it was captured from the Ultramarines, the Night Lords ripping apart the still living body of its previous owner and casting him upon that bloody ground. While interred within his Leviathan dreadnought, Valkyran is known to have participated in dozens of campaigns across the Ultima and Tempestus segmentums. In each case, he led the forces of the Night Lords in direct assaults against heavily defended Loyalist positions. In each assault, his attacks were described as direct, brutal, and crude, leading observers to suspect that he had been driven to the edges of sanity by the strain of operating the highly demanding systems of the Leviathan Dreadnought. The ancient Claviger Kalon. Kalon was a Leviathan pattern siege dreadnought of the Iron Hands Legion. Once a Legion consul of the Ulgravar clan company, ancient Claviger Kalon was a Terran-born siegebreaker of great renown, having won countless honors during the early days of the Great Crusade. Kalon fell in combat during the apocalyptic Battle of Rust, and he was barely saved by the Legion apothecaries. His body was placed in stasis so that he could later be interred within a mighty dreadnought. When at last a dreadnought shell was available, it was to be a prototype class intended for heavy assaults and siege warfare, a perfect fit for the renowned siegebreaker. Upon being placed within his new dreadnought form, Kalon was found to be mentally ill-suited for his new existence, and he was prone to bouts of extreme instability. Like I've stated before, they were created in limited numbers in the later days of the Great Crusade. The Leviathan pattern siege dreadnought, aka the Leviathan dreadnought, was developed in secrecy on Terra, away from the ever-looking eyes of the Mechanicum. Its massive frame incorporates hybrid technologies, some dating way back to the dim past of humanity. Towering over later Imperial combat pattern walkers, this heavily armored dreadnought is savagely powerful. It was designed for siege warfare, and was primarily armed with close combat support weaponry that could rend buildings, vehicles, and flesh alike, although it is no less effective when armed with the powerful, short-range weaponry uniquely developed for it. The Leviathan's oversized automatic reactor allows it to bear weapons more powerful than other classes of dreadnought, and it also powers reinforced energy fields that surpass those developed for the Contemptor. Power has its costs though, and the systems of the Leviathan place a lethal level of strain on the minds of its occupants. Space Marines who find themselves interred within a Leviathan will pay a heavy toll, either with their life or with their reason, as can be shown in the variants of this type of Contemptor dreadnought. The Leviathan Siege Dreadnought has a variety of weaponry that can be equipped upon it, including a Leviathan Storm Cannon, a Grav Flux Bombard, Cyclonic Melta Lances, Leviathan Siege Claws, and a Leviathan Siege Drill. Its torso can also be equipped with 2 pairs of Meltaguns, Heavy Flamers, or Volkite Cavaliers. Additional weaponry can be a Hunter-Killer Missile and a Phosphax Bomb Discharger. This guy can literally be armed with multiple ways to incinerate, blow up, or simply pummel their opponents into nothing. And with that, that is all the time I have for the lore on the Leviathan Dreadnoughts. Don't worry, because tomorrow I will bring you some info on this chapter-specific, or better yet, Leviathan-specific weaponry for these monstrosities. Now, like always, guys, please check out the Facebook page. As I said before, we do got some stuff for sale on there. As always, hit us up first so we can figure out, what kind of monetary value or trades, if you guys want to, that we can do. There's no prices on them, so again, hit us up if you guys are interested in the Thanatar or Dominatar that has been based and painted. Now, they're not 100% built yet, and that was because of making it easier to ship to you guys, because if it's built, it may break. So if it's a little bit more pieces, it'll get there hopefully safe and sound. As always, guys, let me know in the comments down below what other special characters, weapons, or anything else 40k or 30k related stuff that you want me to cover. I believe Gersh is finishing up the Bad Ab War stuff, and I kind of want to do some Ultramarine characters. Maybe go a little bit deeper into Sicarius and Calgar, since I just dropped that lore on Tigurius. Also, we did some lore on Mephiston, so maybe I'll talk about some Blood Angel characters. Again, guys, it's whatever you guys want, so please comment down below, and I'll add your suggestions to the list. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Again, hit us up on all our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and Facebook. On our Patreon, it's only $1. You guys can support us with only $1 a month, and that brings you some creepypastas and some For the Greater Wars, as well as some extra giveaways and whatnot. Again, it's only $1, so why not? As always, this has been The Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I am signing out.